Are you co-parenting with a narcissist and worried your children may be lied to? Well, our special guest today wrote a children's best-selling book about gaslighting, a powerful story in a way that children understand it. So you're not going to want to miss this episode.
Welcome to the Victim to Warrior podcast.
Warrior Talk. We're John and Melissa, and we are both narcissistic abuse survivors, and our mission is to help other survivors reclaim and rebuild their lives. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome, but we are also streaming on all other platforms, and we've included mailbag to our podcast, so make sure you stay till the end because your question may be the one we answered.
We have got a special guest today.
We do. Tyra Juliet Schwarz. She is the best-selling author of this children's book, The Sky is Red. It is a powerful book about gaslighting, and she puts it in a way where children can understand what it means. So you're not going to want to miss this. It is an honor to welcome Tyra Juliet Schwarz to our podcast. She is the author of The Sky is Red, which is a children's book that introduces the concept of gaslighting in a way that kids can understand what that means. It's such a grown-up term, especially with our business, Victim to Warrior. We have so many followers, so many clients who are victims of gaslighting. And we know firsthand the dangers of this toxic manipulation, what it can do to your well-being as an adult, not to mention a child. So I know our listeners are so excited that you joined our show today, and they're going to be very interested about the book and a lot of other things as well. So let's get started with, tell us just briefly about your background and what was your inspiration for writing this book?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Melissa. And hello, everyone. I grew up as a singer. I was always super, super, super passionate about performing and then helping children and helping people become really confident within themselves. Because I realized in my own experience, when I am performing and I'm feeling confident and I'm good in my own skin and I'm believing in my own abilities, I do great. And when I'm in my own skin and I'm doubting myself and I'm having these thoughts like I'm not good enough, I wasn't able to do the things that I can do. So I was always super, super passionate about helping kids with their emotional health. Fast forward, I had a daughter. And that passion just multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. And I started looking for ways to help her be able to be strong in her own skin, to be able to trust herself, to be able to have empathy, love herself. So I started creating original stories where I could, get these important messages through to a child. When I wrote The Sky is Red, or when I came up with The Sky is Red, she was about 2.5, 3 years old. How do you talk to a 3-year-old about,
Right.
It's important to trust yourself. It's important to, understand when you're being manipulated, or how do you even get into that? So, and the thing is, if you don't learn these messages as a child, you're not going to all of a sudden wake up one day as an adult that understands how to stand strong against, manipulation or gaslighting, or all of a sudden be confident if you're just grew up not being confident. You kind of like marinate in what you're.
Yes.
So it was really important to me to give her these essential life skills. I truly believe that self-trust is the foundation of self-protection. So I just started coming up with there was no way. I know this is a long way to answer your question. Sorry, but
No, please.
there was no
Very
intention
interesting.
for me to. Thank you. There was no intention for me to write a book. I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to write a book now. I just was walking around the house saying things like, hey, if I tell you that the sky is red, do you believe me? And she's 2 and she's looking out the window and she's like, no, mommy, the sky is blue. And I said, no. I said, I'm a grown up. I know what I'm talking about. I'm your mom. I know what I'm talking about. You're going to tell me I'm wrong. And she said, yeah, you're crazy. The sky is blue, So it's just like, and I realized, okay, it's like an obvious example, but it's for kids, it's huge. They have this,
It is.
this moment where they're able to say, hey, I'm right. And I'm going to believe what I'm saying because what you're saying doesn't make sense to me. And it's just like starting to implement that little bit of, wait a minute. I don't always need to throw everything I know or I think or I feel or what I see out the window just because somebody, my authority or somebody is telling me to. And it gives them that little strength there. So when I saw how quickly she picked up on that, I was like, man, I just want to get this down on paper. This could help so many people.
Oh my God, it can. And The Sky is Red. That is, and thank you for sending the book. It was actually it was a joy to read. And it was a concept that a child could understand. So tell us a little bit. I don't want you to give a lot away because I want our listeners to be able to get their copy. But how did you come up with the characters and actually the actual story that went with it?
Yeah, great question. I really wanted to make this palatable for young children. I it's so difficult to express these adult ideas. It's the gaslighting, it's the manipulation, it's the all these things that chip down at your self-trust and self-confidence. I needed to get in front of that. So how do you do that with kids, right? So I wanted to make it fun. I wanted to make it where we're not saying any of those words that we can't say. We're not saying manipulation. We're not saying gaslighting.
Right.
We're not saying
Right.
narcissist. We're not saying but we're helping with that because in this book, and I don't want to give too much away, but
Yeah.
there was a grown up and I didn't want him to be too evil. I just wanted him to have ulterior motives where he, you know,
He gets something out of it. Yeah.
yeah, like he's going to convince he's looking to become a superhero, right? So Mr. Zippity is the main character. Wanted it to be a fun name.
Love that name.
And Mr. Zippity wants to be a superhero, and so he's given a test by this mystical fairy who says, "We need to see how powerful you are. Can you convince children that the sky is red?" And we're just going to start there, and it's a few twists and turns in it. We learn through it what true power really is, and I'll spoiler alert: it's not manipulating kids to believe that the sky is red.
Right. Exactly.
In the book, in a way that I wanted this to be fun and friendly, but just to be a conversation starter because that's the thing too. It's like I there are so many reasons why we want kids to be strong, but let's focus on right now co-parenting, right? Co-parenting in situations where you don't know what's going to be said about you, right?
Exactly.
And not everybody has a beautiful co-parent relationship, right? So you want to arm your child with the skills to not believe everything they hear.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't want to ever talk negatively about your co-parent.
Right.
Or say, hey, you can't trust them because essentially that your child is made up of mom and dad, right? So
Right.
we don't want to talk bad about 50% of your child. So having a conversation starter or a way to say, hey, just because you hear something, it doesn't mean you have to grasp onto that and believe that. You can trust what you feel, trust what you know, but to speak to young children and to really implement that message, when I was looking for that, I couldn't find a resource to do that. So,
well, it's such a grown-up topic. You don't think about it with a child, but they are weaponized. They are, they're used to alienate the other parent. So it's perfect. It's a perfect door opener to have the conversation on a child level.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so necessary. I mean, listen, if you spend your childhood not setting boundaries, not listening to your gut, not believing yourself, not feeling good about yourself, thinking, just being easily swayed to be a follower, not a leader, you're not, like I said before, you're not going to grow up and all of a sudden, hey, I'm strong. I could set these boundaries. I can do this. I trust myself. It's not going to happen.
Right, because you're a sponge. You soaked in all of that negativity. And you're right. You can't just flip a switch and all of a sudden you're not doing that and you're not yourself being taken advantage of and gaslit.
Yeah. I, throughout my life, stayed in situations that were unbelievably toxic multiple times, because I didn't have that voice within myself as a child. I got there, and that's another, I'm so passionate about helping kids because I don't want children to go through, you know, accepting that sort of treatment or internalizing these negative self messages. So it all just starts with, that foundation, right? I love myself. I know myself. I trust myself. I believe myself. I could be the only right person in the room sometimes,
Yeah.
and this shows up in every aspect of our life, right? I mean, a toxic work environment, following a group that has different beliefs than you,
Right.
having that
Teachers, people at school,
yeah,
older children.
social media.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes.
There's so many instances, especially now, with social media and everything that, kids, we need to teach them to stand strong and listen to their own, to their gut, and to not feel pressure to just go along with what they're being fed or told, even if it's from an adult, even if it's, it's a thin line, I know, right? Because we don't want to teach kids not to respect authority. That's not the point of it at all.
No, that's not the message in the book at all. Yeah.
No. The point is that, there are safe adults. There are not. There are, people that are looking out for your best interests. There are people that have ulterior motives, and giving the tools, just the tools, not the fear, not anything like that, just the tools internally to be strong, to stand up to that.
Absolutely. I could totally see this as a resource for so many parents that because I'm a divorce coach too, so I get in the middle of these conflicts between the two parents, and the children somehow always end up in the middle as the pawn of the abusive partner. And it's really sad because it tears the parent up, because when they come, when it's their parenting time, all of a sudden they have these different views, like, oh, you're the reason we're not a family anymore. You're the reason that, daddy's so sad, or mama's, and that's being spoon fed into their minds. So when that happens, what advice would you give to a parent when they start seeing the signs of gaslighting or manipulation? I mean, what is, like, because we're talking about children here. So what would be something you'd want to tell our listeners?
Well, yeah, I mean, great question. I think this is the reason why getting in front of that is so important, right? Because when your child, and I hate that happens, and it does, right? But when a child is spoon fed those negative things about the other parent,
Yeah.
it really is a thin line to walk there, because you cannot disparage that other parent.
No, you
You
can't.
cannot
Mm-mm.
make your child doubt that parent, but you do need to get in front of that. But the thing is, I know a lot of people like in the court systems or things like that, and it's like that could actually be spun around if you're just even trying to defend yourself, and you're trying to say, your daddy might, or your mommy might be, not telling the truth, or they're gaslighting or whatever. That could backfire on the parent that's not doing that.
Exactly.
It's really difficult. My advice is get in front of it. Self-trust is the kryptonite to gaslighting. It is the kryptonite. When you trust your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own heart, and you know that you don't have to agree with somebody else's what somebody else defines, is happening. You can look, you can trust yourself. When that person, a person that has that strong self-trust, will not be manipulated as easily. And I know this sounds really adult, which is why
No, but it's so
very important. These young children,
yes.
2 years old, my daughter got it. She got it. The sky is not red, Mom. You're wrong. I know what I see.
Well, and it's so hard not to, like you said, not to disparage the other parent, but that, that is certainly not the way to go, because then the child is completely confused. But handling it with love, with affection, with support, maybe even asking the question is, well, do you believe that about mommy? Or do you believe that about daddy? whatever the question is, what made you believe that, or what made you think that? You're not accusing them, you're asking them the question, but explaining it to them, because people know when they're in an abusive situation, and they know, especially if they're with us, they're trying to get out of it. And so this book is, I think it's going to be very key to so many parents. It's an easy way to demonstrate, basically, don't doubt what you know is true. Your mom loves you, your dad loves you. Getting them away from just believing the toxic, messages that are coming from the wrong side. It's very damaging, obviously. It carried the scars, the insecurities, but the parent that's doing it doesn't care. They're just trying to hurt the other parent. And that's why the child's in the middle. So you writing something like this that puts it on their level, where they can have the book read to them. They can give examples while they're reading it to their child, I think is just beautiful. Do you plan on writing any more?
I definitely do. This was so authentic, like it poured out of me. Like it wasn't like a thought. It wasn't like I need to do something, so yes, I have a lot of ideas, but
Good.
I want to wait until it's pouring out of me. I want to put out like authentic, helpful material, not just to follow up. I really want to make sure that it's helpful and that it's in my heart. So it's a process.
Well, it obviously is, as you are on #1 Amazon bestsellers list. So you are helping people all over the whole world who are desperate, and they have kids that are in the middle of this, that they don't know how to explain it. You automatically want to defend yourself. You automatically want to say that's not true, but doing it in a way that is more loving, caring, emotionally bonding. I think it's going to be a lesson for a lot of parents who are dealing with this, because it is stressful and it's sad and it breaks their heart. But getting in front of it and reassuring them about your love for them, your safety and security in the house that you raised them in. You don't have any control on the other side, but you can certainly make your house a safe, loving environment and open communication. What do you think the age range is? Is this for any age for the most part, or had you have an age in mind?
It's yeah, great question. So I started, 2 years old up until I would say like 10 or 11. There's not a hard cutoff. It is a with pictures, right? So, I'm not recommending it for 17-year-olds or anything like that.
No, but it's good.
The message can help. It's an easy way to digest one of what I feel is life's most important messages and values.
Oh my gosh. I already have a client in mind that I'm actually going to give this to, because she is going through real traumatic, and her daughter's 7. So I know this will be something that she'll be able to treasure and actually enjoy with her daughter. Well, tell the listeners where they can buy it. I already said Amazon, because your best-selling on is awesome there. But where they can buy it, and how can they follow you? Because you're not just an author, you're a singer and a songwriter. So I know they're going to want to know more about you.
Thank you. Well, yeah, Amazon.com is the easiest way to get the book. However, it's also on like Walmart.com, BarnesandNoble.com, probably any online major bookseller. But yeah, Amazon is great, and that bestseller orange tab is I'm speechless basically.
I bet you are. I bet you are, because you're pouring out, like you said, your heart and soul into it, and to have it resonate with so many people. It's a positive and a negative. It's a negative because so many people are having this issue, but it's a positive because there's a resource and there's a way to use this on a child's level where they can understand it. So, it just touched my heart. It really did. And I just know so many people, especially our followers, are going to enjoy following you and reading and getting a copy of this book themselves. But can't thank you enough for being on our show. This was a great segment, very, very helpful, very needed. And I just wish you all the luck in the world with your future endeavors. And please keep us posted when you have another brainchild and you're going to want to and you're going to do something, because we will absolutely have you back on to share some more inspirational news for people that are dealing with children in, situations like this.
You're the best. And you and John, so much respect for you guys. What you guys are doing is just so helpful. I mean, it's right. We're trying to get in there and change the world, right? We're changing the
Yeah.
world by helping.
Yeah.
We're helping and doing what we can to like deliver love, deliver security, deliver support, right? And it's a beautiful thing. So I'm super happy to be connected with you guys. And
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. And we do have a loyal following, and they're like sponges. They're just trying to absorb any information they can, because when you're an adult and you're a victim of gaslighting, you're doubting your own reality, So protecting your child from having to go through that is a huge blessing. So we really, really appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you. And we hope to have you on. Yep. We hope to have you on again very soon.
thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
look forward to that.
Right.
Wow, that was so powerful and informative. Really great job. We want to thank Tyra for her time and really sharing her book with us. I'm going to put her contact information below. I know we talked about it a little bit in the interview, but want to put it in the description below. So if you want to communicate with her or get her book, we're going to put that below. And if you're struggling right now with co-parenting with a narcissist, if you're dealing with child alienation right now,
Or weaponization.
right? Melissa is fantastic with coaching you through that on how to combat that and how to protect your kids as well. So I'm going to put her call link below as well with a discount code. So please take advantage of that. So let's get to questions.
Yeah.
Right. So we had a couple of questions this week that we selected from our mailbag, and make sure that if you have questions for us, that you submit them to questions@vv2w.com. I'm going to put that in the description as well. Send in your questions. We might read them next week on our next podcast. But here we go. The first question: why does love that feels like a roller coaster keep me stuck in a relationship I know is unhealthy?
Wow, we've all been there.
Right.
One of the main reasons is we confuse intimacy and chemistry with urgency, because it's fast paced, it's in your face, it's like, oh my God, all in. And so you get swept up in it. And then once things die back off, you're like, wait, what happened? You're in the tip of that roller coaster. You're just having the best time of your life. Then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. It's our brain telling us the chemistry we're feeling is not chemistry. It's control. It's manipulation. It's a way for them to trap you into thinking this relationship is your soulmate, that this is your destiny. And so your brain just holds on to those moments. So when the abusive cycle comes through and you're feeling like you're about to fly off the roller coaster, then they swoop in with something else that your brain latches onto, even if it's just a few seconds of, affection or love, or what they disguise as love. Your brain going back and forth with the intense chemistry, then the cycle of abuse, and then you feeling like crap, and then them coming back with that again. It keeps you stuck. You have to recognize it for what it is. True love doesn't come in phases. It may not even be all about the physical part of it. That's important, but it's that connection, the bond, the communication, feeling support, feeling heard. All of those things come with an intimate relationship with someone that you love. You shouldn't have to fight for that. That's part of it. So if you're not feeling both of it, the physical part of it's great, but then nothing else is adding up, that's not love. That's control and manipulation.
Right. Okay. Let's get to question number 2. Why does my spouse constantly watch porn but never wants to have sex because he's always too tired?
Wow. I have so many clients that are going through this. Unfortunately, porn addiction is very common with narcissists. just like drugs and alcohol. They want that quick fix. They want that quick high. So watching porn basically gives them this fantasy that they don't currently have. Who does? And that quick fix. So when it comes to actually having true intimacy and a physical relationship with somebody that you care about, they're skewed. Their vision of what it should be is this addictive porn that they've been watching. No one can compete with that, really. I mean, so then you are feeling less than desirable. They may have told you that. You're feeling, how in the world am I going to compete with that? You can't, because it's not a healthy situation in any relationship. When someone's addicted to porn, that is distracting them from the actual intimacy they should be having with their partner. So it could be they just want that quick rush. It could be they don't want the intimacy, because we want more than just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Okay, especially when you're in a relationship. Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, yeah, they want more than that, right?
Yes, we want more than that. We don't want to, have to cuddle and kiss all the time, but we want that sometimes too. But anyway, they don't want to give that part up. It's too much trouble. They don't feel it. So they're looking for that quick hit, and they don't want to put the time and effort that it takes to establish trust in an intimate relationship. It's not about give and taking. It's about them taking. And if you don't want to give, they'll find it somewhere else. And so that is why there's so many people who are in these relationships that are like, I'm a human being. I'm right here. I don't understand why you're going elsewhere, why you're watching this. That's the reason. They don't want that intimate partnership with you. They don't want that intimacy with anyone. Right. And so that's why porn addiction and love and a physical relationship with a caring partner are they're polar opposites. So words and actions, when they don't align, that something's wrong.
Exactly.
So
we want to thank you for these questions.
Yeah.
And please, if you have questions for us, send them again to questions@v2w.com, or be sure to get them to Tim on our upcoming episodes.
Yeah.
We have a new episode coming out every week. So please subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell so you are notified every time a new episode goes live.
Yeah. Thanks for following us, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right.